there's a brilliant book, and I cannot recommend it enough, called Embedded Formative Assessment. Towards the back of this section in your pack, there's some stuff that comes from it, written by Dylan William. You must get it for your library and for your own use as well. It's an absolute stunner. It looks, do you remember we said the most important person when it comes to improving students' achievement is the teacher? The most important thing a teacher does is formative assessment. That has more impact on students' achievement than any other factor. We have 10,000 rigorous experiments that tell us so, yeah? And there is nobody who disagrees with this in the whole of education. And believe you me, they argue about things in education, but they don't argue about this, not the researchers anyway. There's some wonderful strategies which I've stolen from Dylan William, which are on pages 31 through to 34 in your pack. And I'd like you to, in a group, if you wouldn't mind, work in groups of about 3, if that's okay. I'd like you to choose one of those 3 criteria there. One of them is, how easy is it for a teacher to use? Maybe you're looking for teaching methods that you can just chuck into a class without a second's thought and away it goes, and yet it's really powerful. Or another criteria is, how adaptable is it? Maybe you want a method that you can use over and over and over again in lots of different contexts with lots of different levels of students on. Maybe you're after ones that are highly effective. Which one would be the most effective for you, for your subject, and so on? What I'd like you to do is to go through those methods. You might not get a chance to read all 12. I wouldn't bother to read number 6 because it's diagnostic questions, and we've just done that. You know, like you've just experienced that, so you probably know enough about that one. So you needn't read that one. It's quite a long one too. I'd like you to go through some of the others, and if you find one that meets your criteria, let's say you're looking for useful ones, adaptable ones, and you say, hey, that one's adaptable. I could use that. I can see me using that in my classroom. Then make a note of it. And eventually, if you wouldn't mind, after this, just before lunch or during lunch, could you come up here, and if you thought, this is ease of use, this column here, these are the 12 methods, yeah? This is adaptable, and this is effective. Can you come and write the number, find the number of the method. Say it was number 4, and you thought it was really, really adaptable, yeah? Can you come here, choose number 4, this is number 4 here. You were doing adaptable, number 4 you thought was adaptable, just put a little tick here for us. And then by the end of today, we'll have a whole string of little ticks there, and we'll be able to see roughly, not all of them, because you won't have read them all, but some of the ones that are really adaptable, really ease of use, and really effective. Okay, over to you. You've got about 10 minutes to discuss these, read these through in your teams. Okay. We've said the most important determinant of student achievement is the precise strategy the teacher uses in the classroom. That the strategies that have the biggest impact are those which are formative, which find errors and omissions in students' learning and fix them and get the student to actually improve their understanding. We've seen a whole lot of methods for doing this. Some of them come from the world's expert on formative assessment. Interestingly, they're from teachers who have been trained by him. And over a period of 2 years, and it did take 2 years, yeah, practice with these methods and trial them, and then talked about their attempts to tried them again, talked about it, tried them again, and honed and improved and developed their use of these methods until they were working really well. And after 2 years, these teachers were getting about the same improvement in students' achievement as was achieved in the experiments. And I'm talking about a near doubling of students' attainment. I'll say that again. A near doubling of the rate at which students learn. About students who would have got a C without these methods getting an A with them, if you think A level or if you think GCSE. Students getting distinctions where they would have got a good pass. I mean, I'm talking about massive improvements in students' achievement Nearly all teaching methods don't have that power. Some have. We now know which ones, thanks to the work of people like Dylan William, Professor John Hattie, and Professor Robert Marzano. This information's only in the public domain in the last sort of 15 years or so. Most people don't know about it. And what I'm hoping you'll do is to go away and try the methods that suit you and your style and your students and your subject, and talk about them back at the ranch and get others to try them and talk about them and trial them until you've made them work. It takes 5 goes to discover whether a teaching method will work for you, and 25 goes with it, with improvement all the time, until you've got a situation where you're using that teaching method to about 80% of your ability eventually. So even after 25 trials with an unfamiliar teaching method, you've still got another sort of 20% of improvement that's going to be available. You won't be absolutely there yet. That's because teaching is so very, very skillful. So many things to think of at the same time. But the best of luck trying those methods out.